Hello and welcome back to Mainly NBA. Today we're going to be kind of talking about some NBA drama. That drama being the whole Kevin Porter Jr. incident. So Kevin Porter Jr. He's a very talented wing player, very young guy. I believe he was drafted last season that plays for the Cavs. He recently rejoined the team after his first game back on the bench. He just rejoined the team, started practicing with them. After he's had some legal issues, he also had a car accident. Part of it was the charges eventually got dropped in, I think, late December. So he's back rejoining the team, getting ready to go back to playing again after not practicing for a while. And if you watched my last video, and if you just keep up with the NBA at all, you know that Jared Allen, Taurean Prince just got traded to the Cavs. And that's where this issue really stems from because Taurean Prince was given Kevin Porter Jr.'s old locker, and Kevin Porter Jr. was stuffed beside the rookies. So I guess Kevin Porter Jr. Now I'm just this is what I've heard. I obviously don't know Kevin Porter Jr.'s side of things, but there was apparently he had a bit of a episode in the locker room, just throwing things, freaking out. Kobe Altman, the GM for the Cavs, came down, tried to kind of calm him down. That didn't work. Kevin Porter Jr. freaked out, then started telling Altman that this is slavery. So and now reports have come out that the Cavaliers are looking to either trade or waive him. He's an extremely talented young kid. Obviously, um, I don't think this is how he wanted things to end in Cleveland, but I think there's a good chance that he winds up somewhere else and is able to kind of redeem himself as a player and hopefully still have a good NBA career. So the big thing with him is obviously, this looks bad on his image, but at the same time, I think a lot of teams they see the talent. So I kind of want to briefly kind of jump in now that we've kind of discussed what this is all about the drama. Kind of jump in and talk about some possible destinations for him. Now, if you just come out and say that you're either going to waive him or trade him, you don't have really much leverage. So the Cavs are pretty much stuck. There's a couple places I thought of. Initially, the first place I thought of was the Wolves for no other reason than Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell need some help out there. And they really don't have much else to lose. The only thing they really have to lose is the fact that if they don't get competitive soon, I do not see why Cat and D'Angelo Russell will sign extensions in the future or stay happy and not demand a trade later on. I know they've been in talks to get PJ Tucker, but I just thought that Kevin Porter Jr. is a good enough talent and a young enough talent that he could help them now and also in the future and help kind of maybe make this team better. So the stars of this team, D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns, don't get upset or don't get any more upset than they already are with the team and how things are being run. I kind of threw this question out on Twitter. I was like, where do you guys want to see Kevin Porter Jr. wind up? And one team that someone mentioned was the Brooklyn Nets, and I found that was very interesting because last video I talked about how with the James Harden trade it really decimated their depth, decimated their future assets, and Kevin Porter Jr. just getting him onto the team could and obviously not fix those things completely, but he could definitely help. I mean, they got Taurean Prince, who's a wing that provides some depth for that team. Kevin Porter Jr. can fit right into that, and he can provide depth for them, especially with how many games Durant and Harden and Kyrie are probably just going to have as load management days. I could see an opportunity for Kevin Porter Jr. on those days, maybe getting extended minutes and really getting to show what he's got. I don't think he'd have a huge role there, but I think he'd be able to provide depth on a really good team. I think that'd be very good for him. And also it'd kind of help the Cavs, I mean the Nets down the road because they do have that young player who's under contract for I believe 2 more years after this year, and then he becomes a restricted free agent. So it kind of helps a little bit rebuild some of that depth and some of that youth and some of those assets that they lost during the James Harden trade. And so those are the two teams I really thought would be the best, not necessarily fits, but two teams I find very interesting that should be involved. I'm going to begin running some more polls on Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter at mainly NBA. Just same as it's spelled here, just all one word, nothing else special. And I will hopefully be back on Saturday. I'll do either Coach of the Year. I think I'm going to do Coach of the Year and Most Improved Player. Maybe split those up into 2 different days. But thanks you guys for watching. I'll see you soon. Please leave a like and subscribe.